guys, welcome back to the Words Are Hard podcast. Today is Wednesday, so as you know, Wednesdays are Greg's Day. You ever pick up a comic book and look through it and say, wow, this shit's really boring? Greg hasn't.
It's not boring.
That's right. That being said,
every comic tells a story.
it's time for being a big fucking nerd with Greg. What do you got for us today, Greg?
I thought that today I would talk about comics, specifically Spider-Man, specifically the convoluted history with his clones, because the big Spider-Man event going on in the comics right now is the clone conspiracy.
Is this like a take on the fact that, you know, spiders will carry an egg sac with like thousands of babies in it, so there's obviously thousands of Spider-Mans?
Strangely enough, it has absolutely nothing to do with that.
Wow, that would have been so easy for them.
That's probably why they didn't go that route, because most of the time, not always, but most of the time, people writing comics know what they're doing. Unlike you. So...
I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm doing with writing comics. That's why you're the big fucking nerd here.
Yeah, I'm the boss. So...
Wednesdays only.
It all started back in October of 1975. We're going way back now.
Wait, like our 75 or like the comic
Yeah,
books?
so that's one thing I gotta get out of the way right straight.
So when you graduated college?
There
right?
is... Oh, no, I'm not that old. I wasn't even born yet, thank you very much. There is a distinct difference between comic book time and real life time. So, way back in the day, they decided that they were going to do this storyline and introduce...
Wait, is this comic book time or real time?
Oh, Jesus.
IRL?
Both. It was way back in the day, both.
Way back in the IRL.
Way back in the IRL. They decided that they wanted to do this quick little storyline about Spider-Man being cloned. So they introduced his professor, named Professor Miles Warren, who had an unhealthy fixation on Spider-Man's girlfriend at the time. She died.
Is it really unhealthy?
Yeah, like creepy teacher, unhealthy.
Okay.
Yeah, so after she died, he decided that he was going to start making clones of her and Peter Parker, because somehow he discovered that Peter was Spider-Man.
Why was he cloning Spider-Man? If he wants the...
Yeah, I don't think it was
on.
ever really explained why he cloned Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, they must really know what they're doing over there in comic book
I
writing
said
world.
sometimes. I didn't say all the time.
Okay, so... I'm just thinking,
So
okay,
clones-
I'll make a clone of her for me,
Yeah,
and a clone for him, and I'll make another him. and make
maybe
a clone
he
for-
had a crush on Peter and he wanted to have a creepy teacher's three-way.
Maybe.
And
They
then
should've-
found out that Peter had spider powers after he did it.
Maybe they should have invented The Sims back in 1970. And then he could have made as many Mary Janes as he wanted to. That's who it was, right? Mary Jane.
Nope.
Gwen
Stacy.
Stacy called it.
Yeah, Peter Parker was like
Welcome to
madly
being
in
a
love.
big fucking nerd with 2/3 of us.
Gwen Stacy was Peter's one true love who died because the
Right.
Green Goblin threw
Because
her off a bridge.
Gwen is a really ugly name.
Yeah,
so
she was
there's no-
she was depicted as being the hot blonde in the comics.
So what's wrong with Mary Jane? Who's better?
I don't know if
You
one's
decide.
better.
Let us know in the comments who's better, Mary Jane or Gwen Ugly Name McGee. Go on.
Yeah, it was Gwen Stacy. Thanks.
All right.
So yeah, typical comic book fashion. Peter and the clone fight because one thinks the other's the fake. They team up.
Shoot him! No, shoot him!
Shoot yourself. What?
They
I don't
team up.
understand.
There's a big explosion. The clone
Get
gets
back.
caught in the explosion. Peter thinks the clone's dead. And what do you do when you have a dead clone of yourself? You throw it down a smokestack to hide the body.
Okay.
If
Because
you
let's be
haven't had a
fair,
body-
if there's going to be a duplicate of yourself with a dead body, you don't want to have to go around explaining that.
You bury it in the backyard, a la Rick and Morty.
No, you throw it in a smokestack and pretend it went away.
They did
Smoke,
things way
smoke
different
doesn't
in the
burn
70s.
things.
Yeah.
Smoke doesn't burn things. If I was Spider-Man, you could wrap that shit up and
Which is exactly
web-
where I'm going
you
with
could,
this.
You could web it to a cinder block and toss it in the ocean.
So, threw it in the smokestack. He wasn't dead.
Oh, how convenient.
So, 20 years later,
Mm-hmm.
in real comic book time now, somebody gets the great idea that,
1995?
hey, it was 1995.
notes.
Yeah. Somebody gets this great idea that, hey, remember that time we cloned Spider-Man? Let's bring it back.
Bringing it back.
So, it's explained that the clone didn't die. When he woke up, he went back to find Peter because he was all gung-ho that he was going to take his life back. And at this point, it's later on that Peter's now with Mary Jane, and he sees Peter and Mary Jane together.
He goes, oh, he's not with Gwen, it's fine. Comic book over.
Kinda. He basically says, oh, well, Peter's living this life, he's doing his own thing.
Fuck it.
I'm going to become a nomad, and he just wanders.
Nomadic Spider-Man.
Yeah, and he gives up. He's not Spider-Man, so he's not a hero. He does some heroic stuff in this time frame.
They release like this run. It's a full year of people waiting for comic books to come out, and when they come out, there's no dialogue. It's just panels of clone Peter Parker walking through the desert.
It's like the intro of the old Hulk TV show,
except it lasts 6 months.
Yeah, well, towards the end of it, the clone thing kind of felt like it was going on like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they bring him back because in the story he finds out that Aunt May is sick and dying, and of course he still thinks he's Peter Parker, so he comes back to meet Aunt May. A lot of weird things happen. The clone decides that he's going to be his own hero. He's going to stick around. Him and Peter are going to be all buddy-buddy. So he puts on a completely red version of the Spider-Man costume.
Akeem Ketchup.
Yep. Throws on a sleeveless blue hoodie with a spider logo on it and calls himself the Scarlet Spider. Or as I like to call him, Hoodie Spider-Man.
Hoodie Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Hoodie Allen? That's a rapper.
He had a hoodie, and for no apparent reason, because he never ever put the hoodie up, but...
The Scarlet Spider-Man.
So you just
see
just
when
Scarlet Spider.
When you come to me and say Scarlet Spider, I picture somebody in a fucking David Bowie onesie, just like coming out all sparkly, and he's just like, "Yeah, take that, bad guys."
Well, no, I picture like Black Widow, like black spandex. So Peter Parker in black spandex, basically.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. Only it was Peter Parker in red
Venom.
spandex with a blue sleeveless hoodie.
Yeah. Wait up, Peter.
Oh, I guess to differentiate between him and Spider-Man, he also had web slingers on the outside, so you could actually see his web throwers.
Oh.
And he had a utility belt and pouches on his legs because it was the 90s and everyone had pouches.
So basically,
he had a fanny pack.
It was a fanny pack around his ankle, is what it looked like.
Wow.
Have you ever been such a fucking nerd that you have fanny packs around your ankles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to keep your spider gadgets somewhere, right?
Spider. It's fucking Batman. He's like the Bat Spider now at this point.
Don't touch my fanny pack. I'm the Scarlet Spider.
So this whole clone thing goes on for like a year. And in that time, someone eventually convinces them that the whole time up until this point, Peter was really the clone. And the clone, who calls himself Ben Reilly, which is Uncle Ben, the uncle that
like
died.
the rice.
Yeah, just like the rice, because that was his favorite rice.
Yeah.
And Riley was Aunt May's maiden name before she got married. So he calls himself Ben Reilly.
Why doesn't he call himself Ben May?
He should have called himself Ben Rice.
Aunt Ben.
Uncle Ben. So yeah, so Peter and Ben Reilly. Ben was the real Peter. Peter was the clone. It was this whole fiasco. Then Peter and MJ find out that they're gonna have a kid. And at this point, Peter decides that, hey, I'm gonna retire. So
I heard that that the pension off of volunteer crime fighting is actually quite lucrative. So
yeah. So he made more money retired than he did as. Oh, and I guess I should back up. There was more than one clone.
Oh.
Whoa.
Ben was just the first successful clone.
Yeah.
There's
So there's a bunch of like retarded clones.
There's
retarded
legit
Spider-Man.
reject Spider-Man clones.
Where like the web like just kind of drips. He's like,
It's not one that bad.
There's one that actually poops web out of his butt.
Yeah.
He's got like a big egg sack for an ass.
Yeah. This is how I web swing.
Yeah. There's one with 8 eyes. He's like, Peter!
Mama said that you can't go web swinging without me.
Go back! Yay! And like he's got no other powers. He just has a bunch of eyes.
And like 4 extra arms.
Yeah. But they're not like lined up. They're just like kind of hanging off his
There's one
body.
coming out of the middle of his
They're
chest.
not useful. They don't. They're just like.
Okay, so they weren't that bad. I will admit I don't even remember most of the other clones.
Could
but
you imagine?
the most important one was called Kane, and he was
The wrestler.
Well, kind of, yes. He was a long-haired, disfigured version of Peter Parker that looked like he lifted weights.
Disfigured how? Like Rocky Dennis from Mask?
He was an imperfect clone, so he was like degenerating, and his skin was like all funky. And
He was Kane the wrestler.
that's what
Straight
I'm saying.
up,
He
yeah.
was essentially
He's Jack Deadpool.
yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, so it was revealed that in the backstory that the entire time that Ben Reilly was doing his nomadic thing, where he was just kind of walking through the desert by himself, that Kane was trying to kill him because Kane thought that Ben was the real Peter, and he was jealous that Peter was pretty and Kane looked like you.
But technically, Ben was the real Peter.
That was a little harsh.
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
Was there another clone that was born at the same time as Kane called Abel that was just not as...
No, they kind of dropped the ball on that one.
Okay. I mean, that, again, more low-hanging fruit. I'm still playing out a movie in my mind. Like, I'm picturing, like, a really serious moment, and, like, maybe, I don't know, Dr. Octopus is, like, walking into a big warehouse, and he's just like, "Where are you, Spider-Man?" And you just hear, "Hugs!" And a member of the fucking Spider-Man crayon crew comes in and just gives him a big tight one.
You're way too hung up on this defective clone thing. You know that, don't you?
Like, what if you get a scene from that movie? It's like, I'm Spider-Man. No, I'm Spider-Man. No, I'm Spider-Man. It's just like gets progressively more and more. Like,
I like crayons.
There's only one shitty clone, and they're like, "I'm Spider-Man. I'm Peter Parker. I'm Peter Parker. I'm Peter Parker." Lasagna. And they're like, Petey, like, goes,
yeah, it's little Petey Parker.
Petey Parky. Petey Parky.
oh God.
Yes, no, I forget where I left off. Okay, yeah.
Right, so Kane.
So I've explained Kane. So now we're catching back up. So Peter retires. Ben Reilly decides to become Spider-Man and wears a much cooler version of the Spider-Man costume than Peter ever came up with, as far as I'm concerned anyway. That goes on again forever. Then finally Marvel comes to their senses and realizes, hey, we've been doing this for almost 2 fucking years now. We probably need to wrap this thing up. And realize that they've been kind of, screwing the pooch a little bit. Jump the shark, so to speak. So,
Fucking the dog.
Peter comes back shortly for a little while. There's 2 Spider-Men. There's Peter and Ben both acting as Spider-Man because, 2 Spider-Men are better than 1.
Sure.
And then they unceremoniously kill off the Ben Reilly Spider-Man by having the Goblin, Green Goblin, who was supposed to be dead at the time as well, but that's a whole other story, come back and impale him with the Goblin Glider. And at that point, Ben
Goblin
turns into...
Glider?
Glider.
I thought you said Glider. I was
No,
like, no way.
Glider.
And I was like, there's no way they didn't call it Glider.
It was the Glider.
Okay.
So, at that point, Ben turns into dust, proving that he was the clone all along.
That's what happens to clones, by the way.
Again, I'm pretty sure that was just Marvel going, oh shit, we wrote ourselves into a corner. We need to do something different.
They bleed
Turn him to dust!
Yeah. And then he turned into dust, and they were like, Sandman!
Yeah, yeah, the dead Sandman.
If they did it that way, that'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Interestingly stupid.
So everybody thought this was over with,
Yeah.
because clones are all dead, or Kane just kind of disappeared.
Right.
Nobody heard from him for years.
Oh, God.
But then, a few years ago, they decided to bring Kane back, because, he didn't really die, he just disappeared.
Yeah, he took his mask off when he went to go.
he's like 40
and he
fucking
shaved
years
his head.
old.
Yeah. And...
I'm still thinking about the wrestler.
I mean,
Yeah, so Kane comes back. He's still a genuine jackass. He's the evil bad guy. But then the Kravinoff family, who was the family of Kraven the Hunter, who's dead at this point.
Who the fuck is Kraven the Hunter?
He was the one that thought he killed Spider-Man and buried him alive, and then said, alright, I accomplished everything I'm going to accomplish, and killed himself. Because, comics.
Oh God, that's fucking dark.
So yeah, well, this is the best part. So his family, so his estranged wife and his kids decide that they come up with this plan that they're going to bring him back to life. For some god-known reason, they need to kill Spider-Man to do it. So this is Kane's big redemptive arc. He sacrifices himself instead of Peter, and he dies, and Kraven the Hunter is brought back, but he's not completely whole. Whatever.
Yeah.
So again, you think, well, that's the end of the Clone Saga.
That's actually what I thought about when they came out with the Hunter Burger over at Burger King.
What?
Yeah, and I woke
just
up
feel
in the
empty
morning
inside?
and I was like, I'm craving the Hunter.
I'm Kraven the Hunter.
I thought you were talking like you're empty inside because fucking Burger King burgers are really all that filling.
Yeah, you talking about burgers
What?
makes me empty
Fucking
inside.
love Burger King. Burger King, if you want to sponsor us, I'll take a Whopper like an hour from you. Thank you. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, so everybody thinks that's the end of the clones. Last panel of the story, Kane comes back out to life out of the grave. But now he's like...
Was it like the cheesy like single hand like...
No.
I guess it's a comic.
It
You
was
can't
the
really-
full-on bursting out because now he was a spider creature of some sort. He was mutated and he wasn't even the same.
How did he get mutated?
Because that's how clones
Because
work.
reasons.
Because reasons.
Because when
Roll credits.
No, there is a reason behind that, but that would be, again, a whole other episode for me to try and explain why there was these special spider powers that Peter had at one point. But anyway, I digress.
You don't.
So then there was the event Spider Island, which again could be its whole other episode of
Worst
the show.
vacation I've ever been on.
And this mutated spider version of Kane comes back. He falls into this vat of a cure, and he's cured.
On the Spyland.
Yeah, on Spider Island.
Yeah.
And he comes back as a buff Peter Parker. So he's now a perfect clone of Peter Parker, only he's, a big buff badass. So he decides that he's now a good guy. He's going to take up the mantle. He calls himself Scarlet Spider now instead of Ben Reilly. Only his costume was not retarded. He had this cool black and red spider motif going on, no hoodie. And he was essentially Spider-Man with an attitude. So I liked him.
Yeah. He was the Raphael of Spider-Man.
He basically was.
The rude dude with the dude.
Yeah, only he was willing to kill people.
Oh man, wouldn't it be cool if Spider-Man just like shot web down somebody's throat and then they just choked and he's like, oh fuck.
I almost think that Kane did that as Scarlet Spider at one point.
Really?
But anyway.
You're
I'm
building
gonna kill
Kane up
you.
to be super badass and he's like, I'm the Scarlet Spider. You better watch out. I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, no, it wasn't quite that bad.
That was Ben Reilly.
Yeah, that was the Ben Reilly version of Scarlet
I'm
Spider.
the Scarlet
I have a
Spider.
hoodie.
Anybody named Scarlet Spider is pretty fucking fabulous in my book.
Yeah. So, Kane's been the Scarlet Spider for a while now. There was a brief period of time where we thought he was dead again.
Nobody badass refers to the color red as Scarlet.
He only picked the name because that's what Ben picked. He was trying to carry on his brother's legacy. I'm sure if he had thought of it, he would have called himself Blood Spider or something cool like that.
That would be cool.
See?
Yeah, the Crimson Arachnid.
Yeah, see, but he was trying to live up to his brother's legacy.
Yeah.
So,
Carry on.
yeah.
Legacy.
Right now, and this is what brings me up to this, and the reason why I wanted to talk about it, right now there's an event called the Clone Conspiracy happening in Spider-Man's comics.
Okay.
So-
Illuminati confirmed.
The Jackal, who you'll remember is the guy that I said at the very beginning cloned Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy had. He's the creepy professor.
He's called the Jackal?
He called himself the Jackal.
When did you tell me this?
I
But
think
you
thought I
didn't
mentioned
the
it.
Jackal, but yeah,
Okay.
you mentioned the professor.
he calls himself the Jackal, and that in most he's shown up a few times over the years, and most of the times when he shows up, he's mutated himself into this green mutant jackal-looking creature. But in the new story, the Jackal shows up as a normal dude wearing a spiffy suit with an Anubis mask. So an Anubis Jackal mask.
Anubis is a pretty badass god, if you
Yes,
ask me.
so his whole plot, and he's claiming that he's the good guy this time, he's not the bad guy, because he has resurrected all of the people that ever died on Spider-Man's watch. Not just cloned them, he claims he found a way to resurrect them.
Yeah.
Except for that tiny little genetic defect where you have to take a pill every day, otherwise you turn into a mutant zombie. But he's working on that.
Are they all special like the other Spider-Man?
No, they're as long as they take their medication, then they're the original people they used to be. And this includes Gwen Stacy.
Oh.
So the girlfriend's back. And he wants to bring back Uncle Ben.
Oh, is there going to be like a Mary Jane Gwen Stacy cat fight?
I don't know if they're going to get to that.
Zombie cat fight.
Because I haven't gotten to the best part yet.
Oh.
Yeah, no, zombie degenerative clone cat fight. So it's like,
Well, he didn't have to clone MJ because MJ's alive.
Did you say MJ?
Yeah, I can't talk right now.
Alright.
But the best part is when they reveal who the Jackal really is, because he's not Miles Warren.
Is he another clone of Peter Parker?
No.
He's Kane.
The clone. He's Ben Reilly.
Oh.
But he was dust.
They reveal in a flashback that the whole reason why the Jackal was able to come up with this process of bringing people back from the dead was because he perfected it on Ben after he was killed by the Green Goblin. So he essentially spent years bringing Ben back to life, killing him in some horrific way, and then bringing him back to life again just to see the results. Eventually, Ben breaks free, looks at the material that he's got in front of him and says, hey, this could actually work, and starts calling himself the Jackal and decides he's going to help people. Interesting. So the story's still ongoing right now, but they've already revealed that Ben Reilly is obviously sticking around because they've announced an ongoing Scarlet Spider series after this wraps up called Ben Reilly Scarlet Spider, and his new costume is just a reversed version of the Spider-Man costume. So literally, Spider-Man costume, only red parts are blue and blue parts are red, with a hoodie. So he's still Hoodie Spider-Man.
That's...
Oh, and the new costume, he's, for some reason you can see his smile behind the costume, so he's got this like derpy smile on his face when he's in any of his pictures.
So that's...
It's too much.
That sounds like one of the most convoluted stories that...
They just keep making it up. I mean, I guess you could say that about any story.
That's the whole point to comics, is
to any story.
Make shit up.
Yeah, but I mean, they're just like, oh, what are we going to do now? They're like, I don't know, bring them back. Why? Because they were doing it the whole time.
See, the funniest part is, people loved the character of Ben Reilly.
All right, I got this.
Yeah.
Billy's back.
All right, let's bring it back. It's funny you should say that, because Dr. Connors, who's the lizard, he had killed his son, who was named Billy, and that was one of the people they brought back.
Oh my god! All right.
So Billy really is back.
That's just fucked. I can't even wrap my head around that. Can't
I like
even
it though.
Think right now.
I mean, like if I had the time, I think I would actually probably read. You know,
That's the sad part. I have read all of this.
If I had the time, I would do something productive.
like watch the Words Are Hard podcast.
That's productive. Unless it was this episode. In which case, no, sorry.
Yeah. Now we've come full circle. Lessons learned?
I know way too much about comic books.
Lesson learned is that I wish I was Spider-Man.
Or do you wish you was one of his degenerate clones?
I want to be Carl.
You want to be Petey Parker.
Petey Parker.
I want to be Petey Perky. Yeah.
What's your lesson learned?
I can just, it doesn't matter who kills my friends, I could just bring them back and give them a prescription.
Just take your pill.
Just fuck it.
Just fucking take the pill.
Just fuck it. Yeah. Yeah. There's a crayon crew who have the powers of Spider-Man.
Hey guys, thanks for watching another episode of the podcast, specifically watching an episode of Being a Big Fucking Nerd with Greg. If you want to comment on how you think that Mike would make a great retarded Spider-Man clone, just leave a comment below. Make sure you like the video down there as well. If you want to subscribe, you can click on Alex's face. If you want to watch some of our older videos, click on Mike's face. And as always, that's new now, be sure to buy your baby a t-shirt down there as well. Thanks for watching.